We'll be testing the ladder climbing system's swageless eye. To remove the swageless eye, this nut will need to be removed, but previous to this, you'll find that you'll need to back off or loosen the turnbuckle at the base of the ladder, but please ensure you complete the appropriate paperwork before entry. This will allow us to update the plaque at the end. To start, you'll need to set up the HydroJaw 2000 with the cable testing clamp fitted to the end. You'll find this located in the box. Remove from the box. Now, if your HydroJaw 2000 has the operating ball handle in place, you'll need to remove this by unscrewing it counterclockwise and replacing it with the operating nut. Ensure that you don't lose the little washer that protects the bearings underneath the handle itself. Screw on the operating nut. Once this is fitted correctly, next you'll need to fit the 25 kilonewton pressure gauge into the coupler. Press down on the sleeve, confirm it's nice and snug, and then locate the HydroJaw onto the lug at the back of the cable testing unit. Next, we will need the 6mm Allen key to remove the 6 cap screws from the cable testing clamp unit. Once we've removed the top clamp and the 6 screws, we will then insert the ladder climbing system's swageless eye and steel wire rope into the testing clamp unit. The swageless eye will slide through the top slot and the rest of the cable will be mounted underneath the top plate, as you'll see. Place the cable inside. Ensure that the test clamp is hard pressed against the body furthest away from the HydroJaws. Line up the holes and replace the 6 cap screws into the test clamp. Hand tighten all 6 cap screws to ensure the threads aren't cross-threading. And just before we tighten these up with the Allen key, you want to ensure the cable is taut and the test clamp is as far to the left as possible. Maintain the pressure on the cable. Begin tightening the screws with the Allen key. You will need to then nip the screws up. Generally about half a turn will be sufficient on the actual test clamp plate. Once you've completed this, we'll then begin load testing the cable to 7.5 kilonewtons using the M22 ratchet spanner on the operating nut. Before placing the spanner, turn the operating screw a couple of turns. Ensure that the proof load gauge is set to 0, as well as the red indicator needle. Once you're satisfied that it's securely mounted to the cable test unit, begin tensioning the nut to the desired proof load of 7.5 kilonewtons. This is clearly displayed on the operating or test gauge itself. Once you have achieved the desired load, you'll find a minor adjustment may be required if there's minimal movement, and this load will need to be held for at least 60 seconds. You can see here we're just under 8, so we know we've hit the 7.5. Once you've held that load for the 60 seconds, we'll then back the nut off, reducing the load, and begin to undo the 6 test cap screws to remove the cable from the testing clamp itself. Back out all the screws. Remove the top plate. And then the ladder climbing system wire rope will need to be installed again back onto the ladder itself. So remove it out, the ladder to be installed, replace the test cap screws, and then return the unit to the storage box. Please ensure that you follow all of Water Corporation's procedures and permits for entry and exit in and out of the asset regarding hazardous atmospheres and any fall hazards that may be present during the task. By installing the cable to the top shock absorber and then retensioning it at the bottom, you'll have the ladder climbing system in place, which can still be used providing it has passed the initial proof load test itself. If it has failed, you will need to report this back to your supervisor or manager, returning the equipment to its appropriate location. If you require any further instruction on site, there is always the operating manual in the lid. You will also find the Water Corporation ladder climbing system test procedure in the bound booklet located inside the lid as well.